Picture this. The year is 2035. As a young couple, you and your partner are finally getting ready to start a family. Excited and hopeful, you go to the doctor. But wait, you aren't going to get an ultrasound, or to find the gender, or even to see if you're having a child at all. Instead, you're going to pick out every single trait of your future child. You can choose between the athletic package, the intelligence package, and for a certain price, you can make your ideal baby with every specific trait you want. In 9 months, your ideal child will be yours. While this sounds almost dystopian, we aren't far off from the idea of designer babies or genetically modified infants. Recent discoveries in the field of genetics have made it a very real possibility, and the first genetically modified babies have already been born into the world. To understand the ethics and implications of designer babies, we must first understand how the process works. And to understand the basis of it, we must understand DNA basics. DNA is double-stranded and contains a series of nucleotides in a genetic sequence. RNA is one-stranded, containing nucleotides, but is usually used as a messenger of information. Nucleotides are a series of compounds that are the building blocks of genetics, and their order determines traits. By separating DNA, a strand of RNA can form the other half of one of the DNA strands and change the genetic sequence. This groundbreaking process is due to one crucial discovery that involves both DNA and RNA, the CRISPR-Cas9 system. CRISPR stands for Clustered Regularly Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats. While it may sound intimidating, the concept is easier to grasp than you may think. In 1987, when analyzing E. coli DNA sequences, researchers found a repeated series of nucleotides. However, it wasn't until the early 2000s where its potential for genetic editing was discovered. When your body fights off an infection, the bacteria in your body neutralize it by introducing new RNA into it. During this process, the Cas9 protein, or CRISPR-associated protein, integrates the virus's DNA sequence into the bacteria's own DNA. These are the repeating sequences that are referred to by CRISPR's name. Of course, like all things, humans found out how to exploit this very quickly. Once this function was discovered in bacteria, researchers set out on how to use the CRISPR-Cas9 system to genetically modifying organisms. Using it, Cas9 contains a guide RNA that matches with DNA in a cell to target a specific genetic sequence. The protein then breaks the strand, and it can be repaired with new, precise genetic material that is engineered into the Cas9 protein. So, using CRISPR technology, scientists are able to target any genetic sequence and repair it in a way that inserts a new, precise genetic code. While this process may sound complex, it is already being heavily used and investigated. In 2018, the first genetically modified twins were announced by Chinese researchers. The researchers targeted the CCR5 gene, introducing a mutation to protect the children from future HIV infection. As genetic modification grows, the ethical problem grows along with it. There are very little universalized guidelines or rules regarding the field. Most ethical criticism comes from professional organizations, which makes it extremely inconsistent. In the case of the two genetically modified twins, many thought a lack of peer review, regulatory issues, and health risks made the risk not worth the reward. There's a strong need for universalized rules, especially with companies racing to patent and use this new genetic technology. While many believe designer babies are immoral and unethical, there are also many proponents of it. Some believe that ensuring a child's well-being and happiness is the goal, and by choosing certain traits, this would be much easier to achieve. In addition, the ability to prevent disease through genetic modification may save lives in the future. This issue has a myriad of intricacies and differing opinions, making the ethical debate even more difficult. So, what do you think about designer babies? Do you believe it is moral to choose the traits of your child? Would you ever consider investing in the genetic modification of your child? As the technology becomes more and more widespread and regulations are formed, it may become the norm in as little as a few decades. I encourage you to research the possibilities, as you may have to make a choice about it in the future. In addition, it is a strong ethical topic, so make sure to stay informed as the issue becomes more and more relevant. Thank you guys so much for listening.